Well, someone who's not retiring is Matthew Stafford, though he may be changing teams. The Athletic reporting that the Giants, they believe that acquiring Matthew Stafford this offseason is firmly on the table, and we heard from Giants GM Schoen on wanting a veteran quarterback.
Even if you get a young quarterback, you'd like to have a vet, in the room with them to show them the ropes and how to be a pro. So, we're looking at all different avenues. It's, hey, is this guy going to be really good for a young quarterback, or is this guy a starter? Or can we get a guy in the draft, or if we do, should we have a guy that's more of a guy that can develop and show a guy how to be a pro? So, we're going to look at, vets. We're going to look at the draft. We're going to look at trade candidates. We're going to look at under every rock to, find the best prospect for us going into the 25 season.
You know who's a veteran quarterback who's out there? Daniel Jones.
Yes, he is.
Bring him back.
Might want to give him a call.
Yeah. Thought a Joe Flacco joke was coming there, though. That'll have to wait for our next topic. Lawrence, to me, this seems like an unmitigated disaster. Like, why would the Giants want Matthew Stafford behind that offensive line in this phase of their building?
The way it sounded like Joe Schoen sounded, they just like open everything. They just like, hey, we don't know what's going on. We'll take a rookie quarterback and put him behind a bridge quarterback that could help the rookie, or we'll take a veteran starter and get a rookie quarterback in the later rounds. I think their head is spinning right now when it comes to the quarterback position.
I'll tell you exactly why. And this is the problem with the NFL, right? And honestly, I put this on Giants leadership, which is the reason is that what the Giants should do is they should draft Cam Ward or Shadir Sanders, or try to develop a young quarterback, right? That's what they need to solve that problem. Especially because the team is still a little ways away. Even, listen, their defense is good. Like their defense is good. But the problem is that Shane and Daboll barely survived this year. Like they were on the precipice of getting fired, unfortunately. And so if you're those guys, they don't have time to wait. They can't take a project. They need to win this year, especially when you think about what the Commanders did last year, what the Eagles won the Super Bowl, the Commanders won the NFC Championship game, and you assume the Cowboys will be, better next year, right? And healthier. And so, if you're in that division, so they need to win now. Stafford gives them a chance to win now. At least that would be the thinking, right? Versus, a rookie quarterback that will have some bumps in the road. And so that's the problem, is that they're playing for the jobs this year. They basically have a 1-year leash. And so I think it's a mistake. But I will say, I've talked to a source as well that said, there's definitely some smoke to that fire, in terms of not just Matthew Stafford, but also Cooper Kupp. That they could certainly see those two guys go into New York.
A package deal?
Yeah, in a package deal. Yeah.
Yep.
I asked around, sorry, Jay, I asked around some people about this yesterday that I know in the New York market, and the thought was, the Giants would love to do this if they can find a way to package this trade together. The biggest question they all had, or reservation, was they're not sure Matthew Stafford would love to do this. And at the end of the day, it's his call. We've kind of seen this playbook before, where maybe this is an ability for him to go out there, find out ultimately what he's worth, and if the Rams like the number, they just pay the guy anyway. So, because if you're Matthew Stafford, you're looking at that Giants situation and going, you brought up the offensive line, you look at where they've been in the standings and the roster, the work the roster needs, which brings up the Cooper Kupp element to it. Maybe you need to do that to sweeten it. That's not an enticing package when you're leaving Sean McVay and the Rams. So they're going to have to figure out all of that to convince Stafford, not just the Rams.
Let's say Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp go to the Giants. Where are the Giants going to finish in that division with a healthy Dallas coming back?
Fourth. They'll finish fourth in the division, unless Cooper Kupp can play right tackle.
Bingo. So it's like, if you're Matthew Stafford, you're seeing
in
that.
In fairness, that team, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp on that team, would be better than the team last year. I have a friend that bet them to win the NFC East at 85 to 1.
I'll do it again. I swear to God, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. It was very close. Never. It was never close, unfortunately.
I think they won.
They won a game.
Week,
at some point, they won a game.
We were like, oh man, they won. And then that was it.
I wish you had just burned money on set, because that would have been more visually appealing.
To be fair, they really should have beaten the Saints, so they should have finished 4-13 instead of 3-14. But alas.
That make it better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, let's go to the Colts, Indianapolis' own, who apparently are going to have an open.
The only thing on Stafford, though, Stafford wants to get paid, and do the Rams want? I will tell you that I have heard this. One last thing on this. I've heard that there is at least one thought within the Rams organization. I'm not saying it's the prevailing one that'll win out. Is that hey, you know what? They've been piecing it together all along, right? They had Goff, they got rid of him, they kind of bought a championship, if you will, when they brought in Stafford, and they've yet to really, since McVay's been there, been like, all right, let's draft a rookie quarterback, let's develop a team the right way, as opposed to just trying to kind of, Band-Aid and patch it every single year. And so is this the opportunity, while you still have trade value in Matthew Stafford, while there's still, potentially some value in Kupp, like just sort of like do a bit of a reset, right? Because you've got Nakua, you've got Kyron Williams, you've got, some young pieces on defense as well, right? Verse, like, do you have some young pieces to build around? Do you try to,
People seem to forget that, like, the only team that gave the Eagles a game in the playoffs were the Rams. The Rams had, like, first down at the 20 and looked like they were going to beat the Eagles and then have a very good chance to get to the Super Bowl, maybe even win the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. I'm not speaking to sources or anything, but I would just think logically the most likely thing is that he just gets paid and goes back to the Rams.
Me too.
Because that team is close enough.
But watch them get that 34th pick from the Giants and then sign Sam Darnold for half the price and just keep it rolling. It wouldn't shock me.
Indeed. Well.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.